This morning we're off to Bonifacio. We've been on a little island called Cavallo, which is part of Corsica, and now we're going over to the mainland of Corsica for the first time, which should be awesome. Bonifacio is supposed to be beautiful. I'm really looking forward to that. I think we've got about an hour and a half of sailing. Well, hopefully sailing. Looks a bit calm, but we'll see.
And the first challenge is not finding somewhere to anchor, but we haven't got a booking in the port at Bonifacio, but there's a little finger just off from there, and apparently you can med moor against the wall. I think they charge you 25 euros a night or something like that, and so we're going to try and go in there. I don't believe you can book, so if you're going to go, take our chances.
Ready to lift anchor?
Yep. It's been a beautiful little stop here and not too busy in the bay itself. The worst part is all the motorboats that go past the island, and there's a few tourist boats that come as well. And they just create a lot of wake. But it's been fine. It's nice to have the windlass going so well, but I still don't think the motor's in very good condition. Sorry, just taking instructions from the bow. I still don't think the windlass is in very good condition. We're on 10 metres of water here, so what's that? 10 to 38 metres of chain we had out, so take a little bit to wind back in. A slight little headwind, so we're just going to reverse now. Both the prop walk will take my bum to port and the headwind will take me to starboard and should be turning me right around out of the bay on the spot. Anchors up. On our way to Bonifacio. Between us and the mainland there's a few more, well, you couldn't really call them parts of these islands, but it's probably all part of the same bit of undersea floor with boulders close to the surface, some coming through, so there is a narrow channel that's marked. I'm sure local boats cut through the middle of this, but we always just take it very, very cautious. Just seeing so many rocks that are just not on the charts. You know, anywhere you think there's going to be rocks, you just might as well avoid. We're in no rush to get anywhere.
I reckon 30% of the time the anchor comes up backwards. I try. I drop it, I lift it again. It might still be backwards, I drop it. I do this 3 times. And if it's not going to fix itself, I have to come down and get the boat hook, step out, and then I angle it to turn it around, and then I can get it up. The tricky thing is, in order to lean out enough, I've got to put my foot, and I'm sorry I don't have any shoes on, right next to the chain that I'm operating, and there's a risk that I'm going to get my foot caught. So I'm just super careful, put my foot there, and once I've got it moving, I don't move my body because it'll take up the tide. Anyway, I reckon it's now more than 30% of the time that it comes up the right way.
The good thing is, I think Chino's anticipated that, and just on the starboard side of the windlass is a little bit of deck, but it's actually got grip on the deck.
Yes.
So it's not like you're putting your foot somewhere you're going to slide.
I'd like a guard though. You should just have a guard between my little toe, because just so you're so caught in there.
Yeah.
There's a nice spot for your foot, like foot size, but just little something, you know?
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be open there.
Yeah, we could probably look at that. All right. Let's concentrate on piloting, getting ourselves through these islands. Coming into a little channel. We've got some rocks on our port side and most of the meat again on our starboard. One of the things that I do when I'm following my way through here is just look at my depth, just to see if that it's going to be lining up on towards on the bottom that we're meant to be going over. Just gives you a bit of reassurance that something hasn't gone wrong with the GPS and putting you in a position that you're not really in. Most of our dangers here are below the water, so a whole lot of reference on the land and you good bearings where you are. There is a good cardinal marker up in front of us though, so it's always reassuring. And it looks to be in the right place.
To give you an idea of how narrow it is, there's a powerboat that's coming just behind us, and he's exactly following our path. So either it's really narrow and he is taking the same line as us, or he's like, we've got a much bigger draft than him. If we make it, he's going to make it. I reckon the latter. And a huge powerboat's just coming past on this side. Okay. It's so good to see. Some of these buildings are actually overhanging the cliff. I'd love to know if any have ever fallen in. I can't believe some of these would be many hundreds of years old. I can't believe they've had no cliff fall in all that time. But they look so precarious. I'd be nervous living there. I think we're having a day in town today. Hope we're here for a few days. It's great. There's a path going along the bottom of the cliff and what looks like stairs. Let's wait until we get past it a bit. Hopefully it's some kind of lift. There's stairs. Yeah. Yes, people are walking.
Yeah. That is
wow.
5 degrees.
Wow. Yep. 45-degree stairs. Huge. There are some times we get to do amazing things that make my heart flutter, like going through the Corinth Canal and to think of the history and the work that went into it. And it's just spectacular. And sailing into Grand Harbour in Valletta in Malta. Just fabulous. Well, this is one of them for sure. I don't even know what's around here. We kind of like that we don't see a lot before we come. Oh, here's a big boat coming along. But it's spectacular so far. So this is where we want to go, but we don't know what to do. We don't drop anchor, we pick up their slime line things. But we don't know how to do that without help. I don't think we'd have to swim. We saw a boat come in a minute ago and then come out, which makes me think maybe there's no one here to help at the moment. The sign said VHF Channel 12 for commerce, Channel 9 Port de Plaisance, which might be pleasure.
Yeah, I don't know if that's this.
I don't know. So we had no luck. There's no one around, no one came out. We didn't feel we could do it on our own. With a bit of a breeze and a lot of space, you know, the boat would have restricted. So we're heading out to a bay. We might come in again another time. We'll go out, look at our options, compose our thoughts. Anchor and maybe have some lunch. Sweet little bay, about 10 minutes further up the coast. I think this will be a nice spot to stop. Not sure what our longer term plans are, but I think this is just fine for this afternoon. This bay's really nice. Been here for a few hours, had a lovely lunch and a rest. Now we're off to explore the coast. So we had a look into that mooring. I put it on our med sailing Facebook group, and they go, no, you don't get help, you have to do it yourself. So we decided we don't want to do that. Someone warned us that the lines can break. They've had broken lines there before, they're not maintained, so we've decided we're going to stay here tonight. Anyway, at the moment, we're exploring this lovely bay. Don't know what it's called, do you, honey? We've put in a request for a marina spot, but they haven't got back to us yet. So we actually don't know whether we will be staying in the marina tomorrow night. That's pretty normal, you just ask and you wait. Given such a special night of the year, might be more full, and of course we're in peak season. The sand is silky soft. Are you hopping off? Yes. Look at this. Look at this. So this is how some Italian families spend their, what day are we up to, honey? Saturday?
Saturday.
Saturday afternoon. 3 little boats for after dark. 3 families, bunch of kids, some of them there, some of them in the water off on the beach. And they can do that for the whole day. It's a very nice culture.
We've got a response from the marina and it's not good. So, to work out another plan to get into Bonifacio. I've spoken to a couple of people here today. So a couple on a boat that we saw a year ago, only briefly in Corfu, Australians. And also some friends of ours here from Monastir we just bumped into as well. And both of them today went into Bonifacio in their tenders. So it's possible from here. It's a couple of kilometres to the entrance. But this bay won't be any good tomorrow. In fact, a lot of the bays along this coast, or the bottom end here, won't be very good tomorrow. So see if we can work a plan that we can go just a little bit up the coast here, not too far away, and get a bit of shelter from the swell that's going to come in for the next 24-36 hours. And then we may look to return back here and just dinghy in from here. It's a lovely bay, really nice. A little bit of an overcast morning, and it's light easterly blowing at the moment, but off to our western side over that way, there's a big storm front that's approaching Corsica. It's probably about 2 hours off. Lots of thunder, big red, purple parts in the radar. So that normally indicates some pretty strong wind and rain. So we're going to get the hell out of Dodge. It's 7:30 a.m. and it's time to go. Just see the storm front in the cloud there. might not be too bad down this end, but I'm not taking a risk. That bay that we're in sort of points west, southwest. You know, if you start to get 60, 70 knots blowing up through there, would not be nice. We didn't want to be there anyway today, so our plan was to go a little bit further north and find a bay to get out of the westerlies. Well, mainly the westerly swell actually that's coming. So we'll go the east. If we want to go to Bonifacio, we've got to come back this way anyway, and it doesn't matter whether we go east or west. Got a little bit of rain. So we're just passing under just a little bit of cloud that is the first, I think, part of this that came through. So earlier on, I think there was like a little front, bit of lightning, obviously there's a bit of rain here. That all sits in behind the big front behind us. So I've just been looking at the lightning tracker, which also has a weather radar in it. And it looks like the storm front is evolved a little bit. It's rotating to the left, so it's heading more towards the intensity is strongest to the mid and north Corsica. So it could be quite mild as it goes over us here. Anyway, we'll keep heading around the corner here. We need to be somewhere for the next few days because there is that storm front's just the start of a mistral coming in and a big westerly swell that will push up against that coast. When I say big, it's like probably 1.5 meters, but if you're in an anchorage, that's very uncomfortable. So we might just be better on the bottom of the east coast here just for a few days, and then we'll see if we can try Bonifacio again. Jude's woken up with a sore back as well, so she is creeping around the boat very carefully. Hopefully the only thing I need for her is to drop the anchor when we get there. In fact, I can do that back here if I really have to. So we're in this bay. We're going down to an anchorage called Sant'Amanza, which by all accounts is a really good place to hide from a mistral. So we might be here a few days. I believe so, yes. There is certainly recycling. There's some restaurants, so there must be some shops around. Well, we've arrived. As we were coming in, we saw a boat that we know, another person from Monastir. So we have anchored about 150 metres astern of them on the eastern side of the bay, not all the way down. And it's quite calm, but I think the wind's meant to turn around to the southeast, so this should be good on this side. Much to do about nothing, but that's what it's like when you're sailing, and I'm far more comfortable taking my fate into my own hands than sitting on the other side and just hoping that that storm wasn't going to hit hard. So and we needed a spot anyway to stay out of these westerlies for the next few days, so I think this should be good over here. If you haven't guessed, we're not going to Bonifacio in this episode. So spent a few hours on this side of the bay, but the wind is coming up from the west now, which is sort of what we were expecting. So I have to pick up the anchor and move to the other side of the bay. Jude is asleep, her back's still quite sore, so I did a drop by myself before. Now I'm going to do a lift and another drop. So yeah, I can do this because I have my own controls here at the helm, so it should be okay. The biggest thing with the drop is finding a spot to drop, which is why having somebody at the bow is good, because we've got to try and get on the sand. Anyway, let's get the boat sealed up and get ready to go. Anchors up, came up the right way, wasn't without drama. I put up about 10 metres of chain and the bow swung off. I just had to wait for it to sort of come back before I could power forward and lift some more. But the motor wouldn't go forward reverse, went to the bow, wouldn't go forward reverse. So I gave it the old Fonzie, gave it a bit of a bash, and then it started again. So it's not in good shape. We're anchored, checked the anchor, it's looking good. Skidded for a bit actually. I think it's sort of hard packed sort of sand here, so it sort of skidded across the top before it dug in. Still got a good westerly coming through, which is a lot stronger than what they forecast, I think. Expected to die overnight, then came back out, die. I think we're going to be here for a few days, I think, waiting for this westerly wind to die away.